Hi guys, and welcome to another house build. My name is Lauren, and today we're going to be doing a reclaimed barn house. I saw a little snippet of this house on Pinterest, which is where I got the idea from. I kind of tried to recreate the picture. I didn't see a lot of the house, so I kind of had to go flying blind with most of it. But I did see this on Pinterest, and I really liked the idea of having a house over a pond. Now, I know you can't really do that on the Sims proper, but I tried to recreate this as best as I possibly could. And I think I did a fairly decent job. I couldn't for the life of me figure out what I wanted to do with the pond itself. Like it kind of, the form of it was a little weird. I want to blame the fact that I couldn't make the lot bigger, which is what I wanted. I wanted a big pond where you could like have fishing spots. I mean, you can't really have that kind of situation happen, but like you could recreate that kind of. But all the lots that I wanted that had like the lots be as big as I needed them to be were in a populated area, and I wanted this to be a secluded spot, so I had to just give up and work with what I had. So I think it still ended up pretty decent. I really liked the end result of it. But I do wish that I could have made the pond a little bit bigger. But I guess you could put it on a bigger lot and fix it up to make it a bigger pond if you want. I don't know. Maybe the smallness of the pond works for this build though. So I had a hell of a time trying to figure out the roofs. I am not a big roof person. I suck at them. And so trying to figure out what I needed to do to make them work was so frustrating. And I don't know how I could possibly have made it better. I know someone else probably could and would have been able to put the eaves where I would have liked them to go. But I did what I could with what I knew how to do. I also really wanted to have the openness of the middle part. In the picture, you could kind of see that the windows opened up, but they were closed, so you could have it like as a closed off area and it could work well as like a greenhouse type of thing. But I really wanted it to be open because I don't know, it just felt like it should be open, if that made sense. So I used the Moveobjects cheat to recreate this open shutter situation, and it's so hard to do, and I'm an impatient person, so like it was harder, I think, because of how impatient I am. But I got it to work. I got it to like go where I wanted it to go, and I think it turned out perfectly fine. I'm sure other people can make it look better and have them closer to the wall without it like clipping, but again, I did what I could. Another thing I really wanted was a fireplace. If the slot was bigger, I definitely could have put it in, and I think it would have broken up the area better. But I don't think it really truly needed it at the end. I do wish that I could have put in something in there, and I think you could, off to the side where the TV ends up being, you could probably put in the fireplace and it would have been fine. But having that like giant column in the middle, I don't know, it just kind of screams country to me in a way. And you could put like, you know, pictures or kind of like whimsical things in there, and it could work really well in that space. But I don't know. Maybe I could have just made it a little bit bigger. I know that there was room to make it bigger, but I also wanted to close it off because it's supposed to be a reclaimed house from a barn that maybe someone found. And barns, yeah, they can be really big, but I have seen some really small ones like in the country, and that's what I kind of wanted to go with. I think it worked out okay. What do you think? Comment down below. I also really wanted to put in a book nook in here, and when I was coming up with the plans, I didn't really have those windows off to the side as big as they ended up being. I like the fact that it took up the whole entire wall, so I did go like do away with the whole book nook type situation and made it smaller. But my original plan was to have the entire area covered in just books and just have it like as someone who just really loves to read. But I think adding in that TV just makes it more homey. So you could have like a small family, and in the end you could also rearrange it so you could have more than one room, which is what we ended up with. But there is that like that hominess aspect to it with the TV, but I really wish that I could have added in that the like more books. I tried to like have that look with it by putting in those like those strewn about books. I don't know if it came across, but it still looks cute. But I did change up a lot of it by the end, because when I was doing this room, the bedroom, it didn't quite look like it flowed with the rest of the house, and I really liked the look of the bedroom, so I did kind of end up changing it a little bit. And I liked how it ended up later, but it ended up being void of color again, and I don't know how I keep doing this to myself. I void myself of all color and just make it black, white, and gray, all houses. And I tried to put aspects of color back into the build. Didn't quite work out. Now, the bathroom, there's only one bathroom, so if you're having guests over, they have to go through your room, and I don't know if that's really viable when it comes to having guests over. I certainly don't want people going through my bedroom to get to the bathroom, but I couldn't find a place to put another bathroom that didn't look awkward and ill-placed. So your Sims guest is just going to have to go through their bedroom, but Sims do what they want anyway, so they're just going to walk in to people's rooms regardless. I really liked how the bathroom turned out. I've never used that tub before, and I recently went to a friend's house where they had that kind of tub, not the exact same, but something similar, and it wasn't near a wall or anything like that. It was just like kind of in the middle of the room off to the side. It was so interesting, and it inspired me to change the way that I do bathrooms. I've never been a fan of bathrooms. Like I hated doing bathrooms because of how generic I felt that I made them. Like I just didn't have that inspiration. And seeing that bathroom kind of changed my perspective. There was a lot of elements in it that I really liked. I wish I could have taken pictures, but I felt really awkward doing that. But I think I've committed that bathroom to memory now because of how much I love that bathroom. I think I'm going to be doing a lot more of those types of bathrooms now, at least in my modern ones. And this is not supposed to be a modern type of house. And I ended up with a modern bathroom. But that's fine. I still liked it. It still works with the house. And you can see that I am now changing up a lot of those aspects just to make it a little bit more kind of modern in a way, because of how the flow kind of was disrupted. I kept the middle part more rustic, just adding in a lot of those elements of modernness to them. But yeah, that middle part needed to be rustic. I really needed that part to be more in touch with the nature, because that's what you wanted that's what at least that I wanted this house to look like. It needed to be very much a part of nature and nothing too crazy, nothing too over the top modern or abrasive in that space. I wanted it to be just like kind of reclaimed by nature, and having that aspect in it in the middle part was necessary, and having those windows open and having the seating where it was very close. I don't know, I just needed to have that in that space. The pond part took forever, and I was going crazy. I actually had to get rid of a lot of the footage because of how monotonous it ended up being. And I thought I was going to go crazy, and thankfully I had community going on in the background to distract myself from the fact that my hand was cramping and everything was just awful by the end. I don't know how I managed to get through it, but I did. And I liked how it turned out. I like how the nature is just kind of like sucking the house back into itself, for lack of better words. I add in a lot more elements of like, the trees and stuff like that, just to like get it to look more woodsy. And I don't know, I think overall this house was really fun to do, despite the fact that the ponds were gonna kill me. But I would do it over again just because of how much fun the rest of the house ended up being, and that work definitely made it worth it. I think we need more rocks in order to feel less monotonous. Like, I'm working with 6 different rock types, and that ends up being kind of frustrating because you're like, oh, I already put in that kind of rock like 6 times in this one tiny area. But I don't know, they could probably put that in a base game update. So now we're going to go into the pictures. I really like this build. I think it's one of my favorite builds that I've ever made. It's simplistic and kind of rustic, kind of modern. I don't know. It makes me excited to do more builds like this. I don't know. I'll comment down below whether or not you liked it. Like, comment, and subscribe, and I will see you guys in the next video.